Adele said, her voice full of excitement. I had gotten past being upset about her insistence on calling me by my last name. I just created a stitch. She pointed toward what looked like a row of fuzzy white yarn bumps in Eduardo's hand. Eduardo Linares was our only male member. I doubt most people would pick him out as a crocheter. In his other life, he was a cover model, and he definitely looked the part. He was tall, with long, shiny black hair, handsome, even features, and a muscular body that must have required long hours at the gym. But he fit into the group very nicely, thanks to his pleasant disposition and his skill with a hook. His grandmother had taught him well. "Creating stitches is something we crochet divas do," Adele said, crowing with pride. "I'm thinking of calling it the marshmallow stitch." At the word marshmallow, Cece Collins looked up. She was the host of the reality show Making Amends and had a legendary sweet tooth. Hence her interest at the mention of a sweet. When she realized what Adele was talking about, she seemed momentarily disappointed before taking the piece of yarn from Eduardo and examining it. Cece's acting career had recently had a resurgence, and she's gone from occasional cameos to being in the limelight. The best thing about her was that she could be a celebrity and a regular person at the same time. Well, sort of a regular person. She was the only one of us who had to be concerned about being caught by the paparazzi with soup dripping down her chin. "I can't say it looks good enough to eat, but you're right. The way it puffs up with the halo of white, bulky yarn does make it look like a marshmallow, dear. What are you going to do with it?" "I used that baby yarn we made the cuddle blankets with," Adele said, referring to a group project in which we made soft blankets for traumatized children. She took the strip and held it on her wrist. "I could make a bracelet." Then she held it across her chest. "Or keep going and make a vest." Adele was amply built and had an eye for the outrageous when it came to clothes. Knowing her, she'd probably go for the vest. Sheila Altman put down her hook and looked at Adele's creation. She was dressed in a black suit, which was her uniform for her job as the receptionist at the local women's gym. For once, she seemed relatively anxiety-free. Just hearing about all she had on her plate made me nervous. Along with juggling several jobs, she was going to school to become a costume designer and lived in a rented room, partially paid for by babysitting the homeowner's kids. "I think you should use it for trim," Sheila said, taking the strip and holding it at the bottom of the blue scarf she was working on. Then Sheila handed the piece to me. As Adele's gaze turned my way, she saw the box with the clipboard on top that I had set on the table. I prepared myself for the onslaught. "What are you doing with the rhinestone clipboard?" Adele demanded. Was there a little quiver in her lip? When I didn't answer immediately, she stood up. "Well, Pink, what's the story?" Even after several years, Adele had still not gotten over the fact that I'd been hired as the event coordinator at Shed and Royal Books and More. It didn't matter that I had a background in public relations, thanks to my late husband Charlie's business. Adele still thought she should have gotten the position. To soothe her hurt feelings, she had gotten the children's story time. And over time, Adele had managed to work her way into handling some events with me. "Mrs. Shed told me she isn't going to the Get Out of the Heat and Light Your Creative Fire weekend. She put me in charge and turned over the rhinestone clipboard." I said finally. "That's ridiculous. You're not qualified. How many of the retreats have you gone on?" Adele said. Without waiting for an answer, she continued, "I've been on every one since I started working here, which was years before you started." Adele was right on that point. I had never been on one of the retreats. I had been left in charge of the bookstore while Mrs. Shed and Adele went. But I had already arranged to go this year as a participant.